Hold your answer until your pulse is quiet, and the room will answer for you. A vice president fires a loaded question in a boardroom. Can you deliver this in half the time? Heat rises, your reflex is to prove yourself. You breathe once, 10 seconds. In those 10 seconds you watch hunger and fear move across faces like shadows over water. The requester wants praise upstairs. Operations wants cover. Finance wants a fixed number to blame. You look at the clock, then the calendar, then back to the room. We can deliver in 6 weeks with 2 changes, reduce scope by 3 items, and lock approvals within 24 hours. The trap turns into leverage because you cooled first. Detachment gave you a blade you could aim. Detachment is not indifference. It is controlled. You do not kill the feeling. You cage it until the decision is clean. In a relationship, you wait through the spike of anger and say, "We will talk at 7, not by text." In a negotiation, you let urgency blow past you like wind through a doorway. The world worships speed, but speed without position is a sprint into a wall. Your first victory is over reflex. Men who master this win quietly because they never spend authority on noise. They hold their center while the room burns its fuel, and when the flames die, they speak in terms. Desire is a bribe. The moment you need the outcome, you become cheap to buy. Recruiters hear it in your voice when you talk salary before value. Dates hear it when you chase replies with paragraphs. Clients hear it when you say, "No problem," to work you never priced. Urgency is a neon sign that reads, "Discount me. If you must move fast, move with rules. Yes, if. Yes, if the rate rises. Yes, if the decision happens today. Yes, if we drop 2 features." The word "if" is the lock that keeps wolves from your pantry. It does not make you cold, it makes you clear. A clear man is hard to move, and therefore hard to use. Neediness calls predators the way. Blood calls sharks. People press where the wall is soft. They do not have to be cruel, they only have to recognize the opening. Train them to meet steel. Speak in short lines. Keep your face still. Let silence carry the weight. When you finally answer, let the terms be simple enough to remember under pressure. I can do A or B. Both require a deposit today. I do not continue conversations after midnight. Feedback is due by noon. After that, delivery moves a day. Complicated defenses break. Simple ones endure. You control one clock the moment you decide. Never decide at the peak of emotion. The price is always wrong up there. Create a review window you can enforce. 10 breaths for a live conversation. Overnight, for money. 2 days for contracts. If pressed, do not explain your feelings. State your procedure. I will decide tomorrow at noon. Send the final brief by 9. I will confirm by 3. Procedure protects you from the weather inside your chest. It also teaches the room how to behave around you. The review window changes the game. In dating, you wait 24 hours before agreeing to big travel or sudden exclusivity. Impulse cools and patterns appear. At work, you answer urgent with a menu. Option A, fast and expensive. Option B, slower and standard. Urgency becomes a choice, not a siren. In life, you pause after praise and after insult. Both cloud measurements. You measure at room temperature. You buy when the hand is steady, not when the heart is loud. Build the habit like a soldier cleans a weapon daily, without drama. When heat hits, touch your watch, breathe down the spine, lower your shoulders, slow your words. Scan incentives. Who wants speed? Who wants cover? Who wants a story? Then select one sentence that moves the frame without spilling emotion. Yes, if. No, unless. I will decide tomorrow. The knife stays sheathed, but everyone sees the handle. Presence tightens, prices rise, respect follows. Order. Detachment will cost you some applause. People who drink from your hurry will call you cold. Let them. You are not cold. You are clear. Spend warmth where it returns interest after terms are set, after promises are kept. Peace follows structure. Price follows patience. Respect follows the man who can feel a storm and still read his map. Cool first, then cut. Appearances rule. Incentives move. Fate is the story told after decisions. You were taught to follow your heart, to strike while the iron is hot, to trust that what is meant for you will find you. These are lullabies for adults. In practice, outcomes follow pricing, power, and preparation. The heart is a compass only when calibrated by constraints. Heat burns as often as it forges. Fate is the label stamped on results by men who prefer poetry to accountability. If you want control, translate feelings into levers, terms, timing, and tests. Start with the romance of impulse. Films glorify the grand gesture, the surprise hire, the airport confession, the instant proposal. The music swells. The credits roll before the invoice arrives. Spontaneity sells because it flatters your ego. You are the exception, not the example. In reality, impulse is marketing, not method. It produces bad hires who interview well because they mirror your enthusiasm, rushed proposals that bind you to costs you never measured, relationships that begin in fireworks and end in smoke alarms. Consider the founder who goes with the vibe and staffs quickly after a seed round. 6 months later, the runway is shorter, the roadmap is tangled, and the quiet top performer quits because clarity never came. Consider the manager who jumps on a trending idea before checking capacity. The team now carries 2 priorities and delivers neither. Consider the couple who move in after a weekend trip. The apartment is furnished with optimism, and the first fight introduces the landlord to reality. This is not an attack on decisive action. It is a demand that decisiveness be earned. The better posture is cold-eyed. Specify the problem, set a threshold for evidence, and decide at the point of maximal information relative to cost. Keep a checklist. Risk, resources, reversibility. If you can reverse a decision cheaply, move fast. If reversibility is low, slow down and test. Emotion chooses direction. Process sets the price you're willing to pay for being wrong. Next, patience versus passivity. Passivity is waiting for rescue, narrating delays as destiny, and mistaking stillness for wisdom. Strategic patience is waiting with teeth. It has a clock, a trigger, and a fallback. You do not sit, you stalk. A general who pauses to let the enemy overextend is not idle. He has lines of retreat, supply, and fire planned. A professional who delays a launch for 2 weeks to lock distribution is not timid. She is trading dopamine for durable reach. Replace hope with controlled timing. Write rules before you need them. We ship once metrics cross this line. We hire once the pipeline sustains this load. We escalate when silence exceeds 48 hours. When the threshold hits, act without ceremony. If it does not, change the plan or the goal, never the standard. This is how you avoid dead seasons disguised as prudence. The patient man with a plan collects advantages others spill. The passive man collects stories about almost. This difference is visible on ordinary days. The passive candidate spends 3 months researching roles while checking job boards like horoscopes. The patient candidate maps target companies, pre-writes value briefs, schedules outreach blocks, and tracks replies. He looks slow from far away and inevitable up close. The passive lover waits for the perfect moment to speak honestly. The moment never arrives. The patient lover sets a time, names the issue, proposes terms, and accepts that clarity costs. Timing is a weapon when you control it. When time controls you, every delay becomes a tax on your future. Finally, unconditional affection is rare. Conditional behavior is not. Loyalty follows predictable signals. Competence, boundaries, and consistency. People are animals with calendars. They respond to what lowers risk and raises gain. Warmth without standards reads as an invitation to take more. Niceness without consequences breeds contempt, not closeness. If your time is always available, it becomes invisible. If your forgiveness is automatic, apologies become strategy, not remorse. Signal competence by solving repeatable problems on schedule. Publish your cadence. Deliverables on Fridays. Responses within a day. Decisions within an hour, once options are clear. Competence calms rooms. It turns opinions into alignments because people can predict you. Signal boundaries with simple, enforced rules. Meetings only in defined windows. No unsigned work. No last-minute favors without trade. Boundaries do not make you cold. They make you legible. The right allies find relief in constraint. The wrong ones drift away when extraction fails. Signal consistency by stacking small proofs until trust becomes a reflex. Workouts logged, reading done, loops closed, promises kept. Love deepens when relief replaces guessing. This clarity sharpens romance, friendship, and business. The partner who knows you will be on time relaxes into you. The team that knows you will tell the truth early, moves faster around you. The client who knows your scope and price respects your no and pays for your yes. Affection follows advantage not because people are mercenary, but because stable values are easier to love than volatile mood. Make yourself easy to bet on. Notice the pattern behind the myths. Follow your heart collapses when the heart is untrained and the environment is adversarial. Train the heart with constraints, then follow it into the ground you have already mapped. Strike while the iron is hot, collapses when heat is hype. Strike at when the shape is right, high reversibility, clear upside, controlled downside. If it's meant to be, it will be collapses, because fate is a story told by the seated. If it's meant to be, it will be because you priced your value, enforced your terms, and moved at a pace that created gravity. Walk forward with a quiet, strategic fire. Let emotion set the aim. Let structure pull the trigger. Reward evidence over adrenaline. Trust standards over slogans. Be patient like a hunter at water, not like a tourist at baggage claim. When others wait for signs, make one. When others read tea leaves, read calendars. When others ask destiny for permission, issue yourself orders and execute. Appearances rule, let yours signal rank. Incentives move, design yours to move the room. Fate can keep its poetry. You will keep the receipts. Train the heart, price the value, execute on time. One must be a fox to recognize traps and a lion to frighten wolves. You have met the traps inside your own chest. Abandonment sharpened your ears for footsteps leaving. Humiliation taught your tongue to ask permission. Scarcity cuts a tunnel through your thinking so narrow that you rush toward any light, even if it is a train. The wounds are fast. They sprint ahead of you and sign contracts in your name. Now you slow them. You bring a ledger and total what they cost. Start with the trigger ledger. Rejection memories act like tripwires hidden under carpet. A harmless pause sounds like a door closing. A neutral face looks like a verdict. Then the body makes policy. You over-explain to bribe safety. You discount to buy favor. You panic buy time with sentences that never needed to exist. Listen to your own tape. Right before the number, your language fattens maybe, just, if it helps. Happy to, sorry to ask. These are receipts your fear prints in real time. People read them as discounts. Map the tells with X-ray clarity. Do you soften the price by hiding it among adjectives? Do your emails grow long when you are afraid of a no? Do you answer silence with a lower fee, a faster timeline, an extra promise? Recognize panic buys of time. Let me circle back with a few more options, when one option, your real one, would have been enough. Recognize apology first talk. Sorry to bother. Quick question when it is normal to ask. The pattern is consistent. Your wound makes a gamble, and the house always collects. See it in a simple negotiation. You present scope and fee. They nod and go quiet. Your chest heats. Your mouth begins to justify history, effort, fairness. You end by shaving your price and adding support. They smile, still silent. You think you avoided rejection. You bought it in installments. The terms did not change because of reason. They changed because of memory. The fox part of you must learn to spot this trap before the lion roars in the wrong direction. Next, the need for approval as a price leak. Validation seeking drains accounts you pretend are separate. Time, status, clarity. Scope creep starts with kindness and ends with confusion. Could you also, they say. You answer, of course, because approval feels like oxygen. Soon, your evenings belong to features no one budgeted. Staying late for free becomes a habit you justify as team loyalty, while your actual priorities rot. Mixed signals in relationships cost even more. You invest in almost because uncertainty promises hope without commitment. Put numbers on it like a treasurer. Track the hours poured into unbilled add-ons. Track the days between invoice and payment. Track the meetings with no agenda, the drafts with no decision-maker, the favors that become expectations. Each line item has a unit price. When you measure, you discover you are generous in the places that least deserve it, and strict where strictness harms you, with yourself. The market reads your softness as policy and takes its cut. Status slides because people equate firm boundaries with value and the lack of them with cheapness. Clarity dissolves, and with it deadlines and focus. Confess strategically. You were not weak, you were untrained. You thought appeasement brought peace. It brought fog. Fog benefits whoever already knows the path. You pay twice, once with effort, again with respect. The invoice realities are not moral judgments. They are dials you can turn. Now, cooling the wound. Traps are sprung by heat. The tyrant is speed. Your sovereign is a sequence. You will use a short ritual. Name the fear. Breathe. Verify incentives. Speak one clean sentence. Do this before your fingers touch the keyboard or your mouth touches the air. Name the fear. Words pull poison. Say it inside. I fear they'll leave if I don't soften. Or, I fear a no will prove I'm not worth this. Dragging the monster into daylight shrinks it. You stop wrestling fog and start handling a fact. Breathe. Slow. Inhale to a count of 4. Hold for 4. Out for 6. 2 rounds. This is not self-care. It is weapons maintenance. Breath lowers the alarm so your fox can see the lines on the floor and your lion can stand still. Verify incentives. Ask yourself, what does the other side gain by pushing my price down or my timeline up? What do they lose if I walk? What is my alternative if I say no? If you have no alternative, your task is not to discount. It is to build one another lead, another client, another path. Incentives clarify what posture serves the long game. Many emergencies are theater. If the deal is real, it survives daylight and terms. Speak one clean sentence, not a memo, not a biography. A sentence that carries policy, not pleading. For that scope, the fee is X. Happy to add Y, that change is Z. I begin after the deposit clears. This timeline needs an extra week to maintain quality. Then stop. Let the silence earn for you. If they press, you do not argue your worth like a defendant. You point back to terms like a captain pointing to a map. Build tools that make this ritual automatic. Pre-write your offers, your revision policy, your payment schedule, your late fees. Save them as templates you can send, even when your hands shake. Draft exit thresholds before enthusiasm blinds you. Missed deposit, repeated scope violations, disrespect. When a threshold is hit, you do not escalate the feeling. You execute the script. You are not cold, you are clear. Practice on small terrain each day. Ask for the corrected order without a trembling smile. In chats, answer with one sentence instead of 3 cushions. Decline meetings without agendas. In dating, match investment instead of subsidizing ambiguity. With family, love directly and say, "Not tonight," when you cannot. Each small defense proves your protocol under pressure. Return to the first line. The fox learns to recognize traps, including the ones built by memory. The lion frightens wolves, including the ones that arrive wearing politeness. Together, they make a ruler. Your wounds will keep talking. Let them speak from the gallery while you hold the gavel. Cool the heat. Measure the leaks. Close the door softly when the terms tilt against your dignity. Keep your calendar sovereign, your price legible, your exit rehearsed. You are not rushing toward bad terms anymore. You are walking toward clean ones, deliberate, priced, and written. I cool the heat, count the cost, and speak one clean line. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. The persona cracks like thin ice under a bright noon. The smiling, always available self sinks, leaving ripples that widen across your days. Silence follows, not empty but exact. You feel the scaffolding of a lifetime loosen. Small nods, soft apologies, open calendars. What breaks is not your worth. It is your costume. The collapse is an audit. The mask that kept you welcome has finished its contract. Begin the inventory of concessions. Move slowly, frame by frame, as if the room were underwater. Friendships sustained by favors. You kept them warm by burning your wood. You drove at midnight because they forgot to plan. You lent money because they remembered to ask. You were the group's reliable engine. They were passengers discussing scenery. When you stopped providing free miles, the car emptied politely at the next light. Record it. Energy traded for proximity. Warm words, cold ledger. Jobs held by silence. You built your reputation with swallowed sentences. Meetings where you knew the answer but let the room drift because pointing north would make someone blush. Promotions went to louder maps. You told yourself patience is strategy, but patience became camouflage. One day you said, "This is out of scope and under-resourced," and the air stiffened. You were suddenly difficult, which is what people call truth when it steps on their schedule. Record it. Competence without boundary becomes servitude. Romances glued by tolerance. You turned ambiguity into poetry, misreading fog as mystery. You translated mixed signals like a scholar of ancient pain. You accepted busy as devotion, accepted crumbs as cuisine, and accepted delay as depth. You lowered your voice to keep the peace and lost the peace anyway. When you spoke clearly, love rebranded itself as pressure to return to the old script. Record it. Affection rented on the cheap, rent due at the first sign of clarity. Shame hovers, impatient to prosecute. Let it sit in the hall. Inside this room, we count. Each concession is a data point, not a verdict. You were not acting out malice. You were obeying an ancient policy. Be agreeable or be alone. The child in you signed that policy to survive. The adult in you now audits the numbers. Grief arrives, not the grand theater of violins, but the steady light of a desk lamp. Treat the pain like accounting. Numbers don't cry, they correct. On the left, list what was spent, hours donated to other people's anxiety, weekends mortgaged to soothe chaos you didn't create, ideas softened until they died of politeness, sleep traded for the applause of being so helpful. On the right, list what remains, skill under pressure, discipline forged by over-functioning, a radar for manipulation, tenderness that does not collapse into appeasement. Breathe like an auditor, slow, exact. Let tears come if they must, but keep your pen moving. You are reconciling accounts, not casting curses. Where you enabled, write co-signed. Where you avoided conflict, write deferred cost. Where you feared abandonment, write premium paid for belonging. The balance sheet clarifies what stories blur. The persona bought admission with your time and sold it for short-term safety. The price exceeded the benefit. The ledger says, change policy. Now stand in the rubble and draw lines. Blueprint in the debris, clean, operational, testable. Start with response windows. Mission critical, same day. Routine, 48 hours. Social, when energy returns, not when pressure arrives. Manufactured emergencies receive no reply. Your availability is not community property. It is a resource with a schedule. Meeting caps. Accept only with agenda, owner, and decision target. 50 minutes maximum, 5 attendees maximum, 5 bullet points maximum. If no decision, you were performing productivity. Decline the sequel. Convert status updates to a shared document. Protect 2 morning blocks for deep work. They are the pillars that hold the week. Afternoon for coordination. Evening for repair body. Craft. Intimacy that heals instead of drains. Exit thresholds. Define them before emotion fogs the road. Friendship. 2 boundary violations after a clear conversation ends the discount. Work. Chronic scope creep without compensation triggers renegotiation or departure. Romance. If clarity cannot be given in plain language within a week, you choose solitude over suspense. Write these thresholds somewhere you will see while tired. Price rush. Urgency is a luxury request. It pays a luxury rate. Put it in writing. Cap revisions. 2 rounds included, 3rd build. 4th requires a scope review with a calendar slot and a fee. Replace paragraphs of justification with 1 sentence of policy. Policy is kindness to the future. Articulate constraints before offers. I'm available Monday 9/12 for 2 options, not 5. I don't do same-day changes. I can join for 30 minutes if we decide X by the end. Constraints breed creativity. Vagueness breeds resentment. Speak like a bell. Short, resonant, unmistakable. Expect backlash from systems that benefited from your softness. Some will call you cold. Translate, predictable. Some will claim you've changed. Translate, the subsidy ended. Some will test for loopholes. Hold the line. The unconscious will test you too, whispering that love lives where you bend. Answer it gently. Love lives where I am real. Modern life will try to reclaim you. A notification will shout urgency. You will check your windows, not your guilt. A manager will ask for 1 quick favor. You will ask for an agenda and a trade. A date will admire your drive and then ask you to cancel it. You will smile and keep the plan. This is not stubbornness. This is stewardship. The Jungian truth surfaces. Individuation is subtraction before addition. You remove the costume so the form beneath can breathe. You do not kill kindness. You remove its mask. What remains is presence, scarce and reliable, warm and walled. Your yes becomes worth something because your no is real. Look at the room again. Fewer chairs. Better air. The sound you hear is your own voice without the echo of pleasing. You haven't become cruel, you've become coherent. The persona that waited to be asked has retired. In its place stands a person who asks, decides, and bears the consequences with clean hands. The collapse did not ruin you, it revealed you. The audit is complete. Policy begins now, and policy is a promise you keep with yourself when nobody claps. I end the availability myth and guard life. You thought destiny abandoned you. It wasn't destiny. It was your impulsive bargaining and the fog around your terms. You tried to buy closeness with hurry, discounts, and explanations that never ended. You learned the hard lesson: respect arrives before affection, and detachment preserves respect. When the frame is clear, warmth can breathe. When the frame is muddy, even love drowns. Terms before warmth. Clarity is the ground on which closeness stands. State price, pace, and boundaries, so both sides know the cost of entry and the cost of exit. Price is not only money, it is your attention, your time, and your energy. Pace is the speed at which you reveal yourself and build obligations. Boundaries are the edges of your dignity. When these are visible, the other person can relax. Mystery becomes intrigue, not anxiety. Consider texting. Craving says, "I'm free always," and then resents being treated as always available. Terms say, "I reply at 1 and after 8, emergencies call." Clarity lowers panic. It lets interest grow without the background noise of guessing. In business, the same law holds. A consultant who writes, "Scope, 3 deliverables. Timeline, 2 weeks. Fee, half up front." Change requests trigger a new quote. Is not arrogant. They are building a bridge that can carry weight. The bridge stands because each stone is named. In friendship, the bridge is built the same way. I host once a week. I need notice by Friday. If you cancel twice, we switch to spontaneous coffee. Everyone knows the road, so no one drives off a cliff. Trade, not tribute. Tribute is the performance you stage to be picked. Trade is the agreement you present to be respected. Tribute says, "Please accept me, I'll adapt." Trade says, "Here's how we operate. Here is what happens if we do not." The tone is calm, not combative. Edges and exits prevent drama. An edge is a defined deliverable, a response window, a budget ceiling. An exit is the condition that pauses or ends the exchange. If payment is late, work stops until cleared. If messages go unanswered for 48 hours, I assume deprioritization and pause the project. Now both sides can choose with full information. Bring this to romance without apology. Tribute energy sends 4 follow-ups, fills silence with nervous jokes, and forgives without repair. Trade energy proposes terms that keep dignity intact. 2 evenings a week for dates. I prefer directness over hints. If conflict uses insults, I end the conversation and resume tomorrow. Watch what happens. The performative crowd fades because there is no stage. The serious lean in because there is a table. Negotiation is not a lack of love, it is the architecture of durability. Now, the elegance of restraint. Detachment is not indifference, it is refined timing. Fewer words, cleaner choices, better pauses. Think of a chess player who uses the clock well. They do not move fast, they move on time. You do not reply to every ping, you reply at your scheduled windows. You do not explain every no, you offer 2 clear alternatives. Restraint signals that you have other priorities and that you manage them. Management is attractive because it promises safety. The person who can govern themselves can be trusted to govern a relationship. Practice 3 small disciplines. First, the silence edge. Before you answer, count to 5. Most bad bargains explode in the first 5 seconds. Second, offer choices, not essays. Thursday 6 or Saturday 4. Choice compresses noise into action. Third, end cleanly. If a discussion loops, say, "We disagree. I'll revisit tomorrow," and then actually revisit tomorrow. Restraint turns storms into schedules. The more you regulate heat, the more the room stays warm. Some will misread restraint as arrogance. Let them. Misreading is how you sort. Your restraint is not contempt, it is conservation. You are conserving the resources that keep you generous tomorrow: attention, energy, and self-respect. When you spend them only where terms are clear, they grow. The paradox appears. By holding back, you can give more, and it lands because the container holds. Remember the old pattern. You bargained in a rush, lowered the price, over-explained, and then felt cheap. The correction is simple, not easy. Set terms before warmth. Operate by trade, not tribute. Choose the elegance of restraint. You will notice new signals in the air. Punctual messages, plans made early, apologies that include repair, and requests that arrive with deposits of goodwill. This is the market correcting. It is not magic, it is management. You are not colder now, you are clearer. Clarity is kindness to your future. It invites only those who can stay when the pace is deliberate and the exits are visible. In that environment, affection stops wobbling. It matures. Detachment keeps it honest. Respect keeps it alive. And if a bond cannot live within these terms, better to know early, when the cost is small, than later, when the debt is your peace. I set clear terms, practice restraint, and let respect lead. A prince must imitate the fox and the lion. You will become both, the fox that reads the room and the lion that decides without shaking. The detach decide protocol is simple and cold. You cool emotion, you scan incentives, you set options, you decide on schedule. Practice until calm is a reflex, and your decisions carry their own enforcement. First, cool. Your body is the first switch. 1 square breath, 4 in, 4 hold, 4 out, 4 hold 3 rounds. Shoulders drop, jaw unclenches, eyes soften, then focus. Plant your feet and lengthen your spine as if your name were being carved there. Posture writes policy. Panic erases it. With breath and posture, you remove heat from the room without a word. Second, scan. Ask and answer 3 questions fast. Who wants what, by when, at what cost? Listen for hunger in their verbs. Need, urgent, must. Watch the clock language, end of day, launch, closing window. Note the price they'll pay. Money, attention, reputation. Run the same check on yourself. What do you truly want? What is your deadline? What is the real cost of delay? This is your terrain map. Without it, you wander into traps built by your own ego. Third, set. Present 2 offers and 1 walk away before debates take shape. Offer A, the efficient path with tight scope. Offer B, the premium path with expanded scope and time. Walk away, the clean exit you will actually take. Put all 3 in one breath so the frame arrives intact. 2 paths, 1 exit. People feel structure and either relax or reveal pressure. If they try to invent a 4th option that breaks your standards, point back to the table you set. The table is the defense. 4th, decide. Time box the answer and end midstream edits. Decision in 24 hours. After acceptance, changes become a new order. You will be tempted to reopen the door to be liked. Do not. Decision without a closed door is opinion. Opinion invites drama. You are not paid in drama. Anchor. First. Anchor. Clean. Before emotion floods the room, lead with terms, scope, timeline, price, and change rules. Speak calmly. Place each term like a brick, then let silence test the wall. Scope is A and B. Delivery in 3 weeks. Price is X. Changes route through written orders that adjust time and cost. Hold the pause. The pause is not rudeness, it is architecture. Most people auction against themselves when the air goes still. You will not. If pressed, adjust 1 lever: scope, date, or price, then stop. Restate once, then ask a single closing question. Do we proceed under these rules? Enforcement without. Drama is cold clarity. When pushed beyond terms, you do not lecture, you adjust a lever. Late brief, reschedule, and reprice. Brief landed today. Slot moves to Tuesday. Updated total attached. Scope creep. Reduce access, move extras to a paid phase. Payment delayed. Pause work. Send a one-line notice. Resume on receipt. No essays, no half-angry paragraphs that beg for sympathy. You are a ruler applying law, not a cousin defending pride. Daily cadence turns policy into muscle memory. Build, signal, enforce. Build one asset. A reusable template. A microscript for hard calls. A repaired system that will not break twice. Or a short page of proofs you can show instead of pleading. Small, finished, countable. Signal one standard. Start and end on time. Send a one-line agenda. Hold your price without apology. Present work with clean file names and versioning. People learn your level by the footprints you leave. Enforce one boundary. Add a late fee. Move chronic latecomers to the last slot. Stop after-hours replies outside office windows. Rhythm compounds. After a month, your calendar is a metronome and the world adjusts to your beat. Alliance math protects your leverage. Choose partners by complement, conflict hygiene, and speed alignment. Complement means distinct value that compounds when combined. The operator who loves the spreadsheet you avoid. The engineer who builds what your voice can sell. The editor who turns your footage into a blade. Mirrors fight for the same light and starve. Conflict hygiene is how you disagree without poison. Run a short, paid sprint under pressure and watch the friction. Do they attack the problem or your person? Can both of you escalate without heat and de-escalate without sulking? Speed alignment is the hidden contract. Reply windows, decision clocks, escalation paths, responses within one business day, decisions in 48 hours, blocks escalate to a named owner. If their tempo drags or whipsaws yours, narrow scope or walk away, mercy in tone, steel in structure. Make it real. You are a freelancer on a discovery call. Cool your breath while the CEO rushes. Scan. They want credibility for a board demo in 2 weeks. Alternatives are cheap agencies that failed security. Set. Offer. A revise the deck and coach delivery in 5 days at X. Offer B full narrative overhaul plus visuals in 10 days at 1.8x. Walkaway introductions to 2 designers. If they need broader work, you won't cram. Decide. Confirm by tomorrow noon. Changes become a new order. You anchor terms first. Hold silence and let them measure the cost of panic against the price of clarity. You are an internal lead. Marketing wants tiny tweaks after lock. Cool, shoulders down, breath steady. Scan. They fear a flat launch. The true cost is engineering focus mid-sprint. Set. Option A, Q tweaks next, sprint. Option B, swap items now with a visible slip. Walk away, hold current scope and ship. Decide. By the end of day. Anchor once. Changes require order. New ship date is the price. Enforce by moving the date on the tracker and ending recap messages in DMs. Calm is not cruelty, it is clarity. You are a student handling group work. Cool before the meeting. Scan. 2 members want an easy A. One is ambitious. Deadline in 5 days. Set. Option A. Divide by strengths with daily check-ins. Option B. Swap tasks for a stronger presentation with 1 extra rehearsal. Walk away. Submit your portion cleanly if others drift. Decide. Tonight by 9. Anchor. Slides due tomorrow, 8 p.m. Changes after that create new work. When someone vanishes, enforce. Remove their section, tighten the rest, send a factual note to the instructor, and keep tempo. Review closes the loop. Each night, replay 1 minute. Where did breath and posture save you? Which incentive ruled the room? Did you offer 2 paths and a door out? Did you decide on a schedule and keep it shut? What micro-adjustment protects tomorrow? A clause, a template, a script. You are not chasing perfection. You are engraving certainty. The protocol makes you legible. Legibility becomes respect. Respect becomes leverage. You do not have to announce. In a world that worships panic, your stillness will look like magic. It is not magic. It is a method. You cooled first. You mapped the hunger and the clock. You set the table before the food arrived. You decided when the room would have drifted. People begin to plan around your calm because your borders do not move. The fox reads, "The lion rules." Together, they build a city on time. Cool first, set clean terms, decide on schedule. He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command. Peace is not a mood, it is a management system. You build it when feelings cool and rules speak first. Define peace precisely, the absence of avoidable uncertainty. You clear the fog, you can clear and mark the rest with signs. Start with calendars that keep you honest. Block deep work, training, meals, family time, and recovery, and defend those blocks like city gates. Add buffers for travel and contingencies so Monday cannot ambush you with invented emergencies. Price your time so every request meets a tariff. Impulse loses its subsidy. Write explicit terms, response windows, meeting lengths, deliverable definitions, and, most important, exit paths. Every commitment includes a clean way to pause, hand off, or conclude, so goodwill does not rot into resentment. Your brain relaxes because tomorrow is legible and today has lanes. Be generous, but make it structural. Mercy without edges becomes dependency. Dependency turns praise into quiet resentment. You give inside rules, not instead of them, to protect the system that protects you. A colleague who loves flexibility but treats deadlines like rumors receives scaffolding, a shared tracker, interim checkpoints, and consequences that arrive on schedule. A client who pays late loses scope until order returns. Your goodwill is not a credit card for their chaos. A friend who appears only during fires gets resources once, then a boundary twice. After that, the gate stays closed until reciprocity appears. This is not cruelty. It is stewardship of time, energy, and standards. Rules keep the treasury solvent. Sentiment, ungoverned, invites looters. Make generosity countable, hours capped, tasks defined, timelines written so kindness compounds rather than collapses. Carry the quiet sword. Do not wave it, wear it. Standards reach the room before you do, and people feel the edge in the clarity of your terms. You decide late after gathering facts instead of obeying feelings. You act clean, no gossip, no theatrical outrage, only the motion you promised. You leave early, no lingering to collect flattery or renegotiate what the contract already settled. When someone tests a line, you keep your voice low and your documents high. Here is what we agreed. Here is what happens next. Picture the manager who never threatens, only enforces scope at the gate. The parent who does not scold, only begins the bedtime protocol. The founder who rarely raises a voice because the contract already speaks. The sword is quiet because the scabbard is law. Storms will still come. Loss, illness, shocks no policy can prevent. Peace is not magic. It is leverage. Detachment lets you see the board. Policy lets you move. Keep templates for yes, for no, and for circle back in 2 weeks, so emotion cannot improvise ruin. Fix mornings as a border light. Movement. One decisive task, then open the gates. Defend sleep like currency and attention like a harbor license. Schedule decompression after sprints, so victory does not become self-harm. When you miss a standard, reset without theater. Repair is part of the rule. Pre-commit to exit paths before entry so sunk cost cannot blackmail you. Keep a small crisis protocol, 2 actions, 1 call, 1 hour, so panic cannot write policy. Movement converts fear into data, and policy converts data into decisions. Peace is engineered by detachment and policy. You choose it when your rules speak first, when your mercy has edges, when your exits exist before your entry. You choose it when you decide late, act clean, and leave early because your standards arrived before you did. Then calm appears not because the world grew gentle, but because confusion lost its shelter and chaos has nowhere to live. I let rules speak first, and peace answers.